So universe has three different substances: mineral kingdom, plant kingdom, and animal kingdom. The values are: mineral kingdom has truth value, plant kingdom truth plus beauty value, animal kingdom truth plus beauty plus love values. So because the energy of God contains the three divine values, truth, beauty, and love, whole universe and everything that has been created has a truth, beauty, and love. Happy global village. We have many religions saying my religion is the only truth. It's just like five blind men arguing what elephant look like. Only way to stop the argument is to open their eyes so that they see the whole picture. Every religion has partial truth, but not total truth. What's the proof of that? The way we are living today. That's the proof. Every human being to become the embodiment of truth, beauty, and love, if we become that, if all men were angels, no government would be necessary. James Madison once wrote. If all men were angels, do I need a Taekwondo fight? Of course not. If all men are angels, I'm not saying one way or another because I don't want to be criticized by some people. I'm just asking, and you answer that. If all men are angels, do we need 10 Commandments or character education? This is the question that you should have your own answer. I told you that nobody has to work if we all become billionaire. You know, in fact, when I went to Soviet Union, I gave 11-day seminar, 18 hours a day, and Soviet Minister of Foreign Affairs asked me to write an article. I won the 1991 Article of the Year award for international magazine. Andrew Gromyko founded that magazine, and my friend Ambassador Piatyshev happened to be working there. He asked me if I do the article. During the Gorbachev time, communism will never work. That's right then. And I was ready to really be kicked out, but surprisingly, one who is in charge of teaching communist ideology is the Znania Society director, Vladimir Kudunov. He came to see me and asked about a bunch of questions for 2 hours. And when I answered all these questions, he said, we know communism doesn't work. And he said, when are you coming back? I said, well, I can come back September 1. That was July 15. Why are you asking that? When you come, I like to take you around in major cities to teach all my staff your ideology, happyism. I said happyism is similar to communism. I call it free common possessionism. Let's see how that can be possible. In 1929, there are 30 million farmers fed 100 million American population. So each farmer produced food for 3 or 4 people. Then, year 2000, we only 3 million American farmers feeding 300 million American population. That means that one farmer produced food for 100 people. If 8-hour labor can produce food for 100 people, 8-hour labor for clothing for 100 people, much easier because we don't eat clothes like food. For building, much easier because some building lasts maybe 500 years. We need one more labor for everything else other than food, shelter, and clothing. So 100 people for everything else. 4 times 8, 4 laborers working 8 hours can make everything that needs for 100 people to live like a millionaire. 32 hours calculated to be 1920 minutes for 100 people. Now if 4 people work, each has to work 8 hours. But if all 100 people work, each has to work only 19 minutes. Are you following my number? That 19 minutes is not even work. Why? Because cooking is an art, dressmaking is an art, building is an art, everything you create is an art. So I am saying it's a performing art of a society. That's what God designed for us. The reason we have so much problem is because everybody is cheating. In result, we have to have soldiers. Within the country, we have to have a police. We have to have lawyers and accountants. These people don't produce anything. All government people, we need the government right now under the circumstances, but not producing anything. They are just watching, make sure nobody cheat. That's the problem. Let's say 1 hour work, then what do? Now 8 hours sleep, and then we have 15 hours to kill. What do? Dancing, singing, painting, sculpturing, writing, sporting activities, inventing things. That's all we have to do to live like a millionaire for everybody. And then, this is very interesting. I ran into reading this quotation by John Adams. Politics are divine sciences after all. I must study politics and war that my sons may have liberty to study mathematics and philosophy, in order to give their children a right to study painting, poetry, music, architecture, statuary, tapestry, and porcelain. John Adams. That's what he said. You know, those American founding fathers really said everything that we need. I know today America is very unpopular throughout the world because of Iraq war. But we have to honor what American founding fathers had done for human race. That's why I am very patriotic to this country, not because I'm an American or a Korean, but because America really changed the human history the way we are living today. So the above activities automatically will make us do the mental and the physical exercise for our healthy and happy living. When everyone becomes the embodiment of truth, beauty, and love, every human problem will fade away. How? There are 3 reasons why we have conflicts between individuals, between nations, religions, and groups, and just name it. Just 3 reasons. No other reason. One is conflict of ideology, conflict of interest, conflict of emotion. So truth, beauty, and love are the solution to this, all kinds of conflicts that exist among human race. And so truth, beauty, and love, if we all become truth, beauty, and love, in not only in the brain, but every cell in our body, registered in the cell brain, then we are all becoming divine human beings. Dear ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen, the core message of this speech is as follows. Do we really understand what is true will of God? Does He really want us to really believe in Him so that we can go to the kingdom of heaven? Or something else? This is my personal belief, that God is telling us, children, would you please forget about me? Don't even think about me. Just love one another. Then you will come to appreciate the source of happiness that you are experiencing. So please, don't worry about me. I'm okay. Just love one another. Then you will be so happy, and you'll be looking for the source of happiness, God. Another reason you shouldn't think about me, forget about me, is if I ever show up among you, do you think you have freedom? The most precious gift that I have given to you. If I ever show up, you'll be trembling. Just as in old times, when king shows up, everybody trembled. Why? Because he had the power to control your life. He could kill you, he could make you a millionaire. So, I am a million times more powerful than kings. If I show up, do you think you have freedom? That's another reason that you should think just loving one another. Forget about me. George Mason, one of the wisest founding fathers of the United States, said, quote, "Liberty is the gift of God, not the government. And the purpose of government is to protect that liberty, not to destroy it. God's purpose is to give us freedom for happiness and to protect that liberty for all His children's happiness." When I visited the Thomas Jefferson Memorial, I read the words of wisdom by Thomas Jefferson on the wall. Quote, "I'm not an advocate for frequent changes in laws and constitution, but laws and institutions must go hand in hand with the progress of the human mind. As that becomes more developed, more enlightened, as new discoveries are made and new truths discovered, and manners and opinions change with the change of circumstances, institution must advance also to keep pace with the times." Unquote. God is telling us, I am not greedy God, because I am unconditional love of God, just like your physical parents are. When you give your life for me, you are expecting something. When you give your life for your friend, you are not expecting anything. So there is no greater love than giving your life for your friend. Now, in Iraq, people are killing each other in order to come to the kingdom of heaven by showing your loyalty to me. That's big mistakes. I'm not selfish God. You don't have to believe in me for you to go kingdom of heaven. Regardless, I love you. If you hate me, I still love you. So forget about me, just love one another. Let me ask you one more question. There's a King A. King A says, I'm here for you, you're not for me. King B says, I'm the king, you must live and die for my sake. Which is better, king? Of course, King A is. Let's put God in that position. God A is saying, forget about me. Just love one another. God B says, I am the God. You must live and die in my glory. Which is better, God? I think if you have common sense, you know what I'm talking about. In 1929, the famous Indian poet Rabindranath Tagore gave a speech in Tokyo, Japan. Among the audience, there was a Korean newspaper correspondent. When he finished his speech, he asked him if he could give the same speech in Seoul, Korea. He said, I'm sorry, I have to go back to India right away, but I will write you a poem for Korea. This is the poem he wrote as follows. In the golden age of Asia, Korea was one of the lamp bearers, and that lamp is waiting to be lighted once again for the illumination in the east. Where the mind is without fear, head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls. Where the words come out from the depth of truth, where the tireless striving stretches its arms toward perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by day into ever-widening thought and action, into heaven of freedom, our fatherland, Korea. Let our country awake. Rabindranath Tagore. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to Lisa Warner, the graphic designer, and Jim Warner, the book editor of the book Trutopia, my lifetime dedicated work.